Alright guys, so in the last video we set up our backend API for our to-dos. Now we're going to start to work on the client-side Angular application. Alright, now we need a folder to put our Angular app in. Alright, so we're going to create a new folder and call it client. And we need to let our server know that that's the file we want for static files. Alright, so we're going to go right under where we put the view engine and just add a piece of middleware here. We're going to say app.use and then say express.static, and then we're going to wrap path.join, and in there we're going to say _dir name and then client. Okay, just like we did with the views folder. So it should know that that's the folder where Angular will be. So let's save that. Now we want to just set up Angular in client as we have been. Alright, so what we're going to do is go to our Angular IO website and go to docs, not docs, go to get started, and then just create these files. So first we have our package.json. I'm going to copy that, and inside client we're going to say new file, package.json, and let's paste that in. Alright, we can change the name. We'll just change it to mean to-dos. And let's go ahead and save it. Alright, and then we're going to create another file called tsconfig.json. And let's grab the code from there, paste that in, save it. Then we need typings.json. Okay, we'll grab that code. And we need system.js. Alright, so this will be system.js.config.js. And we'll grab that. Alright, so let's go ahead and save it. Now what we want to do is in our command line, I'm actually going to open up another one. And we're going to go, let's see, where is it? Projects / mean to dos, and then I want to go into the client folder. And from there I'm going to run npm install. Alright, so now that that's set up, I'm going to go into the views. Now we're going to use this index file, but I'm not going to use the EJS extension. I'm actually going to just use HTML here because we're not going to be using EJS inside of here. And then what we want to do is just in the documentation for Angular, go down to, let's see, way down to the bottom where the HTML is, and we're going to grab that and just paste that in. We can change the title. Alright, and we'll just save that for now. Now there is a link to styles.css, so we can create that in the client folder. Alright, so we'll say new file and styles.css. Alright, we're not going to need anything. We're not going to need that yet. Now in the client folder, let's create our app folder for Angular. Alright, and then we can just pretty much continue as if we were just creating a regular Angular app. Alright, so let's see. We want to create our app.module.ts file. Alright, and let's grab that. Save it. Okay, we're also going to want our app component file, app.component.ts, and we'll grab this. Save it. Alright, and then we need to import the component file into the app module file. app component. Okay, we need to add that as a declaration. So we're going to put a comma here and then say declarations and add in the app component and also Bootstrap app component. All right, and then we'll save that. Okay, let's go down a little bit here. And then we need to create our main.ts file. So let's do that. Paste that in. Okay, that looks good. We'll save it. And we should be all set. So let's go ahead and now we need to compile our TypeScript. So make sure you're in the client folder here, and we're just going to run npm tsc-w. Okay, and that's going to, let's see, why didn't that work? Oh, it's npm run tscw. So that'll compile, and it'll also, it should run it in watch mode. Alright, so it did compile. You can see we have our JS files here. And now there's a couple things we need to do on our server side. We're going to go to, let's see, routes and index.js, and we're just going to add h.html right here. And in order to parse HTML files, we need to go to our server.js, and we're just going to add a line right here. Okay, we're going to say app.engine, pass in HTML, and then another parameter we're going to require EJS, and just say dot render file. Alright, so that should allow us to render just an regular HTML file. So now what we're going to do is go back to our other command line that's running the server, and let's restart it. Engine is not, oh, it's a comma, it needs to be a dot. Okay, started on 3000, and if we just go to localhost 3000, we get my first Angular app. Alright, so we're now running Angular on the client side, and we have our Express server on the server side. Now, I want to use Bootstrap, and instead of just using the CDN like we've done in the past few projects, I want to use Bower to install it, which is a client-side package manager. Alright, it's kind of like NPM, but for the client side. So let's go and stop the server, and we're going to run npm install Bower, and we want to install it globally, so we're going to say -g. Alright, now when we install something with Bower, I want it to go into a folder called Bower Components, but I want it to go in the client folder, not in the root in the server. So to do that, we just need to add a single file to the root. Alright, so we're going to say new file, and it's going to be called .bowerrc. Alright, and then all we want to do here is put in an object and set directory to not Bower Components, but client/Bower Components. Alright, so let's go ahead and save that. And now we can go ahead and install Bootstrap with Bower by saying Bower install Bootstrap, and we'll do --save. Alright, now that's going to install Bootstrap. It also installs jQuery, because jQuery is a dependency for the Bootstrap JavaScript file. All right, now we want to include that in our index, so let's go to index.html, and we'll go right above where the style sheet is. Style sheet. All right, and let's see, for this, we're going to go to Bower Components / Bootstrap / dist / css / bootstrap.css. And then for the JavaScript, we can include that down here. All right, we first want jQuery, so that's going to be Bower Components / jQuery / dist / jQuery.js. All right, and then for the Bootstrap JavaScript, we'll change this to Bootstrap / dist / js / bootstrap.js. And that should do it. So let's save it, and we'll run the server again. Node server, and now you can see that you can see the font has changed, so Bootstrap is now active. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and stop here. Now that Angular is set up, we're going to, in the next video, start to create our UI, and then we'll start to interact with our backend ToDo's API.